So Obama has become much more vocal in the political space. Now, beforehand, he was mum. Like, nobody knew where Obama was. But all of a sudden, over the past week, after he came out with an endorsement for Joe Biden, Obama has gotten much more vocal. Now, Barr release Flynn. Now, I would say that it was legitimate for Barr to release Flynn because basically the charges on Flynn were basically entrapment that had nothing to do in real terms with the investigation into the Russia stuff. Flynn was literally talking to the Russians on behalf of the Israelis to try to get them to basically inhibit the vote that Obama to let go through on Israeli settlements. He was talking on behalf of the Israelis. That part always gets lost in the conversation about Flynn. But Obama didn't particularly appreciate them letting Flynn off. And so in a leaked audio, Obama is having a conversation. And in that leaked audio, to his 3,000 supporters, that's the main thing that people are talking about. Meaning that's another video. And I'm going to make that video. But one of the other conversations in the exact same clip, in part reference to the Flynn thing, was a endorsement to Joe Biden. Now, I laugh at this, calling this an endorsement, because he's already endorsed Joe Biden. But this was one of the saddest cases to make for one Joe Biden. And I want you to hear it from Obama himself, because I thought this was utterly hilarious. Welcome to an early morning soapbox. My name is Jamal Thomas. This is the Progressive Soapbox. Guys, if you dig this content, please like, share, subscribe. You can always support PayPal, Patreon. I'm not going to keep this video quick because I need to leave, but I wanted to show you this because I thought this was entirely hilarious when I came across this clip. So, Rising was first to find this clip. Now, I've been hearing all day yesterday about the conversation that Obama had, basically that was leaked. He was basically talking to 3,000 of his supporters. Now, in that conversation being leaked to get across his displeasure with Trump, but he didn't necessarily want to come out and just say, I am displeased with what Trump did. So they came with this kind of behind the scenes cloak and dagger, not cloak and dagger at all, leak. But again, I want to focus at least this video on his endorsement or his push and reasoning for push for one Joe Biden. And again, I think this is quite possibly one of the saddest cases that I've heard made for one Joe Biden. And it's made by his ace boo coon, clean and articulate, Barack Obama.
The response to this global crisis has been so anemic and spotty, and it would have been bad even with the best of governments. It has been an absolute chaotic disaster when that mindset of what's in it for me and to heck with everybody else, when that mindset is operationalized in our government. So that's why I, by the way, am going to be spending as much time as necessary and campaigning as hard as I can for Joe Biden.
So let me let me nutshell that. Obama is basically saying, look, a lot of people have been dying from the COVID-19 virus. And because of a lot of people have been dying from the COVID-19 virus, and because instead of actually going out and ensuring the welfare of the public and having a decent response to deal with this particular issue, I am voting for Joe Biden. It's like because 1 million people are ill and 80,000 people have died, and we're expecting that number to double within the course of, by the time we get to August, if not a larger number, especially with the policy that Trump is going with. You've had this anemic response by government. And because of everything that's been falling apart, I'm going to vote for Joe Biden. It's like he's resigned to the fate of it all, despite the fact Obama just endorsed him. Look, if Obama wanted to back Joe Biden, he would have backed Joe Biden early on. Joe Biden was basically the candidate that was sopping up the black vote that no other candidate could basically do. And in them trying to stop Sanders, he was the guy that they basically had to throw their lot in with. Joe Biden at that point, I would imagine, is going to give out all sorts of positions to the various people who are in the race. I suppose all of them are going to get something out of it. Obama, after all, was making calls in order to get these people to coalesce. Now, Sanders never loaded his weapon in the first place, and so when these guys coalesced, there was nothing that he can necessarily do in order to make an argument, because those arguments need to be made early on. When Obama was running against Romney, what did he do? He spent a ton of cash early on, battleground states, making the point that Romney is basically Scrooge McDuck that goes swimming in money and that hires people to stand on the stage, fires those people after they hires people to build a stage in which Romney will stand on that stage and fire all of those workers, including the people who built that stage, and walk off the stage and eat a donut. That's the type of man Mitt Romney is. Now, in doing that, anything that Romney did basically was put through that particular lens, that focal point. Because at that point, he had already shaped the identity of Mitt Romney as the venture capitalist from Bain. Now, whatever Romney said, do you remember Romney came up with the 43% eaters or takers or whatever Romney was making the point of? And again, that fits firmly within the context that Obama created. Now, Sanders never created that context for Biden because he allowed Biden to basically flagrantly lie throughout the campaign, never even calling him on his lies about the civil rights movement. So it was a fundamentally different way that these two people ran the race. I'm just trying to show the what needed to be done in order to make that work. I'm just making the very basic point that Obama and basically the Democrats in general settled for Biden because Biden was the guy that could beat Sanders. Whether or not Biden could beat Trump was secondary to the process. Again, that was revealed when all of these guys were willing to go to a brokered convention, which would have immediately lost to Trump because no Sanders supporter would have voted for any Democrat if they would have ripped it out of Sanders' hands. But in this case, you have Obama. Yay, Biden. Yay. Like it hurts him to say it. Where's the affirmative argument, right? I mean, basically, these arguments are at least worse. I mean, Ro Khanna came out saying, I'm excited to beat Trump. I'm excited to beat Trump. And you have Sanders who's shucking and jiving and trying to get people to vote for Joe Biden, trying to say that Biden is this and we agree on that and we have a task force this and a task force that. None of that stuff is going to get done because basically none of this stuff has to get done. At the point where Joe Biden has his support, Joe Biden already has his support. He doesn't have to give anything. The task force are just face savers. There's another clip for this where Obama goes into the Flynn stuff. I'm going to have that as a separate video because Obama possibly can be implicated in what was taking place in regards to them going after Flynn, especially in the July 5th meeting where Obama was basically, Obama, Rice, Comey, Joe Biden, all of these guys were in a meeting together. And Flynn apparently was the topic of conversation in that meeting. The case with Flynn was supposed to be closed and was supposed to be shut down. FBI agents found that they had not shut the case down and was gleeful on their own incompetence. This was the stuff they wrote down themselves. And basically went after Flynn, trying to make the decision of whether they wanted to get him fired or whether they want to get him locked up. In this case, they caught Flynn in a lie. But again, the lie wasn't about Russia per se. It was about Israel getting Flynn to ask Russia to intervene on the UN vote. Nobody cared about the Israel part. Everybody cared about the Russia part. And the Russia part had nothing to do, basically, with the investigation. And again, at the point where these guys are saying, lying in wait, that doesn't necessarily look good. I am not against them releasing Flynn. This is not necessarily saying Flynn is the greatest person on the planet. I'm just making the point that it did seem like they were lying in wait in order to pounce on Flynn. It seems maybe naive for me to say so. It seems unfair. It seems unfair. I'll end this here. Don't want to keep this long. Like, share, subscribe. Thanks all. One post daily. I slept 20 hours 2 days ago, and then 5 days up. Pretty much, that's how I rock. Insomnia and stress mixed with TBI for military duty is the problem. I've never been in the military, but I've had insomnia for the past 20, 30 years. Like, share, subscribe.